Hello there, Stampers. It's Jackie Bolhuis from Klompen Stampers. Today, I have the perfect simple card for you. You know, sometimes I think, especially those of you that are beginners or newer card makers, you get overwhelmed. And I recently did kind of a survey with my team of demonstrators, and I said, what do you struggle with the most when it comes to card making? And it's always where to start, feeling overwhelmed. I don't know where to begin. You know, I am all about keeping it simple, and I like to start using the SIP method. SIP stands for stamps, ink, and paper. You know, don't let yourself get overwhelmed with all the stuff. Stamps, ink, and paper is all you need, and you can do simple cards. So today I'm really focusing on those of you that are a beginner, or maybe you just want to, do some quick and easy cards really fast. This is perfect for you. But as a beginner, I really emphasize stamps, ink, and paper. Pick the stamps you like. Get 1 or 2 colors of pad and then get some paper. Now with paper, the perfect paper is the note cards and envelopes. You get a pack of 20, you got the cards, you got the envelopes, and it all comes together. Grab yourself a stamp set you like, and then 1 or 2 ink pads. You're good to go, and you can make some cards. So that's what we're going to start with, a simple card, especially for those of you that are beginners. But we're not going to stop there. I'm going to show you how easy it is to just step it up a little bit. Now, stepping it up doesn't mean it's harder. And again, this is where people get overwhelmed. Step it up by adding a little ribbon or linen thread like I like to, or a little embellishment. Or what really steps up a card is a little bit of extra cardstock and pop it up with dimensionals. Again, not hard. We're just doing a little bit more. It might take you a couple minutes longer, but it's still super simple. So we're going to start with that SIP. Then we're going to step it up, and this time we're going to step it up a 3rd time, and we're going to bring in an embossing folder and some dies. Now, a lot of you, especially beginner stampers, aren't ready to dive into embossing and die cutting, but I want to show you how you can take that simple card design and easily step it up again. Now, the cool thing is the dies I'm using, we're using the Shaded Summer stamp set. And the dies I'm using are actually a celebration item. As you may or may not know, we are in the midst of celebration at Stampin' Up! This is the first time they've done it in the summer, fall, whatever you want to call it. But during August and September, if you place an order, you get to pick a free gift. There's some items you can pick with a $50 order, and there's some items you can pick with a $100 order. Now, these particular dies that go with the Shaded Summer stamp set are one of those items that you can select with a free order. It is a $100 order, and you get the free dies, but you can't buy them. That's the only way you can get them for free. So I really thought when I originally planned this project, I wasn't going to use the dies, and then I found out they came out with celebration dies, and I thought I would incorporate them so I can show you how to step up that card, kind of make that 3rd version of it by just doing a little bit more, a little die cutting and a little embossing. So are you ready to get started? We're going to start with the SIP card, stamps, ink, and paper, and then step it up. Let's go ahead and flip the camera down, and let's get to work. Here's a look at the stamp set. It's called Shaded Summer, and it is in the annual catalog. Now, speaking of that catalog, if you don't have one and you would like one, you can just hop over to my website, klompenstampers.com, and click on catalogs, and you'll be able to request a catalog there. This is one of the stamp sets. When I looked through this new catalog, I kind of pegged it as a great one for a beginner. When we first start making cards and we don't have a lot of supplies, it's always good to start with that stamp set that has some pretty pictures, and then it has some greetings that kind of cover different reasons why you would send a card. I mean, we've got a thank you, we've got a birthday, we've got just a hello you, and then some friendship things. So it's perfect as like a first stamp set, because once you get this and some ink and some paper, you're off and running. You can make some cards. So that's why I selected this one. So let's set that aside. And as promised, we're starting with stamps, ink, and paper. So that's our stamps. Then our ink, we're going to use the Highland Heather ink pad. This card is really one color is all I need, plus black. So you can use any color. So if you like this idea and you want to purchase that stamp set and the note cards, you pick whatever ink color you want, because anything would be pretty. Now, we're going to just go ahead with this. And I'm going to ink up, there's like 2 floral designs. Let's see, let's flip it this way. So I'm going to start by taking one of them and have that down towards the bottom, kind of coming off. And then we'll take the other one and we're going to bring that up here and kind of come off from the top. Now notice how I did let both of them run off the edge. Personally, I think that looks better than if you just have an image kind of floating on there. So, you know, we got the edge coming there and the edge coming there. And remember, we're keeping this super simple. This is if you're just starting out, one stamp set, one color, and now we'll bring in black. I think black is a staple, and especially when you're first starting out, you always want to grab that black ink pad because you're always going to use that. So we're just going to go ahead and stamp thank you in the middle. Need a thank you card? There you go. It is ready to send off. Now I have kind of this thing. I like to always make sure that I stamp the inside of my cards as well. So we're going to take the same flower. We'll bring it down a little bit further. We need some room to write. And then we'll take another one of the greetings. And what I kind of like about the stamp set, or one of the reasons I like about it, especially for those of you that don't have a lot of stamps, is you get inside outside words. So now we have thank you, and above and beyond, you go there a lot. Now, one more step. We are not going to stop until we also do the envelope. You know, again, we can do simple stamping without a lot of supplies, but we can still have a great card to send to someone. So there you go. That is how simple it is to stamp with Stamps, ink, and paper. Not a lot of supplies here, but look at, we could be making a card. And this could be hello you, or it could be happy birthday. Now, let me pull in here. I actually, before I started doing the video, I played around here just to show you how you can mix and match all these different words. So we have hello you with some friendships are meant to be. And again, envelope inside. So for this one, I just turned it this way, and you'll notice that a couple of these images are lighter. I just stamped them on my scrap paper first so that it got lighter, and I was able to just stamp that happy birthday on top of it. Gave it a little bit of dimension with those two different shades in there, but it's still just one ink pad. And then inside, we've got words for the inside and our stamp. And again, here's a thank you. This one's very similar to what I did. I did stamp this a second time. So I stamped it once, stamped it again for that second shade, and then a different verse from the inside. So let's set these aside. These are our first set of cards, okay? Stamps, ink, and paper. Now, don't forget, with all of my blog posts, all of my videos, I do a corresponding blog post over on klompenstampers.com, and there'll be a link down in the video description to take you right to it. But I'll have pictures of all of these cards, as well as the complete list of all the supplies I used. And then in our stepped up versions, I'll also give you all the cutting dimensions. So I try to make it as easy as I can to just go ahead and recreate these ideas. Okay, we are going to move on to our next set here. I promised you we were going to step up our cards two different ways. We're going to step up and then we'll step up again. So here I use those same note cards and envelopes. Okay, inside looks exactly the same, but for the outside, I just added a couple of layers. A layer of basic white and a layer of basic black. Now, the cool thing about this design is, again, one ink pad, whatever color you want. And we can always add some white cardstock and some black cardstock, and you're good to go. Linen thread, that is my favorite ribbon, if you want to call it a ribbon. So we added that on there. And then my hello you, I just stamped that on a scrap of that basic white, and I cut it out with my scissors and I popped it up with some dimensionals. But look at how just that little bit, okay, let's bring in our other one here, how much that really steps up that card by adding a couple layers of cardstock and then our linen thread and some black dots. These have been kind of my embellishment of choice lately. I love adding embellishments. They're not very expensive. You get a ton of them. I tend to do things in 3. I was taught that many years ago that 3 is kind of a good eye-pleasing number. So I kind of do a triangle-ish pattern with that. And then our linen thread. And there's our stepped up version. Now let's go ahead and pull in. I did 3 of them. So there are all those same colors done by just cutting out our greeting, popping it up with some dimensionals, linen thread, black dots, and some layers of cardstock. So again, it is not any harder. We just have a few more supplies. Okay, let's set these aside. Now remember, all the cutting measurements will be over on that blog post, so check that out if you'd like to make these cards. Now finally, we are going to bring in the dies and an embossing folder. Now this is the smaller size embossing folder, so these do fit through the mini machines. Again, if you're a newer stamper and not ready to dive in with buying a ton of stuff, maybe the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine is a good place to start for you. There's not as many die options, but there are small ones. Now these can go through the big one too, obviously, but I wanted to keep to products that worked in the mini. So we got the polka dots, plus I love this folder. And then here are those dies that you can get for free with a $100 purchase during August and September. So we get there's ones to cut out flowers, which I haven't even played with those yet. What I wanted to do for starters is just use these two pieces. And here are those exact same stamped images. I used the dies to cut them out. Again, kind of popped up with that black, and then I added some crumb cake, kind of my favorite neutral color. Every color looks good with it. Embossed that layer down there. I used a punch for our greeting, added the linen thread, the black dots, and look at how by just adding that embossing and then these pieces die cut, how it steps it up even more to make just an absolutely stunning card. Inside looks exactly the same. So there you go. There is stepped up and stepped up and stepped up, we'll call it. 3 different versions, all using the exact same stamps and ink. We just added a little bit more paper and a few additional items to it. So I hope you like this video. I hope you like the projects, and I hope you learned something. You know, those of you that are new, stamp, ink, and paper, that's where you need to start. And then gradually you grow into, add a little ribbon, add an embellishment or two. You don't need a ton of stuff. You don't need to put a ton of stuff on your cards. But usually it's just a few layers, a little bit of colored cardstock and these little embellishments, and you really have a beautiful card. So thanks for tuning in today. I appreciate it. Let me know if you liked the video. Leave me a comment. Share it with your friends if you have stamping or crafty friends as well. And don't forget to check out my website. Over there, you'll not only be able to request a catalog, but check out what all the Stampin' Up! Specials are. Remember, free item with a purchase this month. I have all the specials over there as well as all the information on these cards. So I'll be stamping again with you real soon. Have a stamp happy day.